Welcome back, guys. Valley's starting to look not too bad. In this episode, the objective is to finish the valley. I mean, completely finish the whole valley. It's a lot to do. So we better get the sponsors message out of the way quick. This video is brought to you by me and my official game store, where you can still get 66% off Transport Fever, but it ends today. The offer ends today. Oh yeah, and there's 2 new games being added to the store tomorrow, so be sure to check back. Okay, before we jump into the time lapse, and there's going to be, I would think, quite a lot of time lapse in this episode, I wanted to show you this, and thank you to all the people, it's like several people, let me know about this mod that I'm going to show you, and it is pretty darned awesome. Let me turn off the, pause the game for a second. Okay, it's this, Valet Parking. It allows you to plop like up to 49 cars in one go. And it's configurable. You can have bad parking, you can have gaps or not. You can have, if you want to include Onion Jack's car models, which of course you would, why wouldn't you? And then you can change the gaps, you can change the angles of the cars and stuff. So like if you want to have them angled like that, you can do all kinds of cool things with this. And this is going to dramatically increase, or I should say dramatically decrease the amount of time it's going to take for me to put in all of these cars. Now, you might go, okay, right, well, we'll go straight for 49 cars, put 49 cars in at a time. Unfortunately, the spacing, I mean, you could, and I may end up doing that if I get like really bored, but it's actually best to put them in like 10 at a time, I think. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing, at least initially, plopping them down 10 at a time. Should we do it? I've already lined this one up so it's correctly placed. A good thing to do actually is set it to 49, right? And then see if the line is straight. And that's a pretty darn straight line. So no, let's set it to 10 again. And then let's put in a few cars. And you can play around, like just moving it a fraction, you can get different colours and stuff. But let's go with them. I'm going to leave a couple of gaps. Let's have some nice dark ones going in, and then let's work from this end. Leave maybe a couple of gaps. Yeah, maybe. Actually, no. Don't leave a gap. And then that leaves me with those to fill in. Can you see though that these spaces are not all the same? So sometimes you have to go down here and kind of nudge the gap a little bit wider. That's right, or pretty much right. So, go on, let's put those in. Boom, and now we've got a full row of cars in, and it does make a hell of a difference, doesn't it, having the cars in? That's going to be awesome. All right, guys. Wish me luck, because this is a huge amount of work. I'm going in. Now, I said I was going to get the whole valley done. And I did. I got it all done. Can you believe it? I got it all done. You're going to love this. This is a pretty long time lapse. This is about 30 minutes of time lapse. But, oh my God. I mean, I cut it down and it's about 4.5 hours, the time lapse. I also did some stuff offline. So there's probably another couple of hours in there as well. But oh, wait till you see what it looks like when it's all done. Now, just look at this. Now, I got better as you like with anything. Like you have a bit of practice and you start figuring out like what works and what's the easiest way to do it and whatever. But I thought I'd do about a little less than half of the first part of the car park, and you can see how long that took to do, and I've got so much more to do, but it looks so impressive when you've got all the cars in there. It just suddenly looks alive. And then started working on the different areas around the valley, and just like bit by bit building it up, adding buildings in. And not just around the airport, got some surprises for you that I think you're gonna like. This is we're on the kind of industrial side. So this is the side where I want it to be kind of like warehouses and that kind of feel to the place. Warehouses, kind of light industry, but lots of storage kind of stuff. So I was trying to find buildings like this and just like add in stuff that looked like it was like all warehousing and storage. I was kind of pleased with the way that it kind of all ended up. But like throwing in I do the old random roads again and then trying to fit buildings kind of into the random roads that I've created, and it does kind of work. And this time around I was like a little bit more aggressive in terms of trying to put buildings together, you know, and create kind of new things, new structures. And have some kind of different angles in there and whatever. But it's like you throw a bunch of buildings in, and then like throw some loading bays and a bit of parking and stuff like that in, and then it's when you add the textures, and then you like add some trees around the outside and add some bushes here and there and whatever, and suddenly all the bits come together and it kind of merges into something kind of cool. Again, just adding a little bit of height in certain places, kind of away from the airport down at the far end, just to create a little bit of interest. Now we get into a little bit of good old-fashioned decorating, or did. Oh yeah, this trying to get these roads to come down from quite an elevation was a little bit challenging. So I ended up having a road coming down from each side, but for some reason I couldn't get two roads to like join up, so I had to put a little bit sticking out so that I could actually get the roads together, which is kind of weird. And it kind of didn't look that kind of great, so I ended up putting some buildings up there and stuff, as you'll see in a bit, and it ended up looking kind of nice. I am really pleased with how the whole place ended up. I just put some trees on there to kind of dirty the cliff face so that it wasn't so bright and white, and I think it looks really nice now. Now I tried to use like as few trees as I could kind of get away with. So like in this area, I filled in around the outside with trees, and I did end up putting, I suppose, like a fair amount of trees in. But I didn't want the valley to end up looking like just like a great big forest. So we've got loads and loads of fields coming, and when you mix in kind of all the buildings, and there's just a little village gonna go in. In fact, I think there's two little villages going in, and then you know all of this kind of stuff, all you know the extra industry and some commerce and whatever. I am starting to get like reasonably okay at creating kind of the general landscapes, as you'll see. But it's one of those things that like it just comes with practice. The more you do it, and just like I'm also getting better at kind of using like random stuff that at first doesn't necessarily seem like it would go, but you just throw it in, like that kind of quarry thing. At first I was like, no, that'd be silly, and then I thought, yeah, you know what, throw it in, and I threw it in, and I thought, actually, yeah, that looks all right. So here I'm just filling in around that area with forest, and that now looks pretty nice. Now here I'm starting to work on the station, because I was looking at this and I was like, yeah, this doesn't look so good. So I thought, yeah, a few kind of warehousey buildings along the station, some big ones and some little ones, some as big as your head, And then bit of texturing. Few trees, few bushes. And suddenly it all starts to kind of look good. And using those, using the textures from the bushes just to blend things together a little bit. I wanted to blend in that because it's kind of a bit of a sharp outline, that concrete. So I wanted to go and blend that in a little bit. So a few bushes around the outside, some along the front, and it all starts to, see, it's coming together, isn't it? Now you imagine that over the whole valley. Yeah, that's coming. That's coming in like the next 20 minutes. It's all gonna suddenly be there. More textures going in around the industry side. I'm definitely getting better at using those textures. You know, it's this experience of knowing like which texture to use where, and rather than just putting in like squares, putting in random shapes and kind of not being afraid to put in like weird shapes and whatever. And this, you know, this technique of kind of lining the roads with bushes and whatever, as you start to add these kind of into your armory, and you get all these different methods of doing things, you know, like creating the patchwork fields and whatever, like the whole thing gets easier and quicker, and it just makes you want to do like the whole map. And you'll see by the end of this that we've kind of done 3 fairly big chunks now. We've done the valley that goes off towards Wellington, which I'll show you, and that now links up with this the BIGGLESWADE Valley, and then of course we've got the Chudley Valley. I mean, I still need to do a little bit more work to finish off the Chudley Valley, but we've kind of done 3 like fairly big chunks, and I think doing the areas, at least in terms of like the general environment, you know, creating little villages and the road networks and then the fields and forests around it, I think that's going to be much quicker now, because if I can finish this off in like say 6 hours, then yeah, it you know, doing the entire map becomes kind of feasible. And like that one, I added grass textures too, and just little details like that make quite a difference. And you can see this end of the map is really starting to approach completion now. A few extra buildings by the little tiny station, the kind of mini station. And then this area, now I know that this is gonna have some buildings add to it. The city's still expanding out into this little area, so I thought I'll fill in a bit of it, but I'll kind of leave it to be able to expand a bit. So I didn't completely finish off that end, and the city will kind of grow into the spaces and finish it off organically, which I think will be nice. Right, I think we're into loads and loads of fields work now. Just defining the edges. I think it looks good if you get a nice kind of sharp edge to the fields. And it's a pretty easy process now. You know, you pick an area, line it, divide it up with the lines of bushes. Then you just add a scattering of trees on top of the bushes, and boom, you're done. And then add some textures. Now I'm just putting in some roads around the outside, because one of the things is if you just put the fields in without any roads around, it kind of looks a bit artificial. Whereas you throw some roads in and suddenly, you know, it's like. And also that gives you places to put buildings, and then the whole place starts to look more, just more realistic, you know. And I wanted to be able to come down here because I wanted to put in some buildings by those trees, just here by those trees. So putting a few access roads, and then started to look for some nice kind of farmhousey looking buildings. And I got a few nice buildings in there, and then it was like I want a place that looks kind of like a barn or something, and I couldn't find the building I was looking for, so then I got distracted. Ended up putting a little trackside asset in and hooking that up, and then I found it. I remembered it's one of the steelworks buildings, and I spotted those tanks in there, and I threw that up by the station. But this needs to be on a flat area, so I just made a little flat area here, and then put in this. It's actually a steelworks building, but I think it works great as a barn. And then little road coming out, a few bushes around it. I really wish I'd got some like tractors and combine harvesters and stuff. Wouldn't that be cool? Be so cool. Then just decorating around the roads that I've just put in. I've got to say, it does make for a cool time lapse. I mean, I'm sitting here watching this and I'm enjoying this. Taking out things like little depots and whatever that I'd put in temporarily. Now, I want to get this like all the way up to the top of the hill, so that like when you look down the valley looks complete. So I've just extended that road up kind of over the top of the hill. And then loads of decoration all around the place. I actually had a ball doing this. When I actually sat down to do it, I thought, my God, this is going to be kind of tedious. But I actually love doing this stuff. There's another depot I could rip out. Now, there is a heritage line to go along that side of the valley. I'll try and point it out to you when I'm working on it. I did extend the track a little bit. I haven't put that heritage line in. We'll put that heritage line in. But the track now extends all the way, like almost to Ashby. Almost to Ashby. I left that little stone bridge, or that stone kind of embankment thing in, which I think looks really nice. And again, just working on it like bit by bit, develop a bit. If you kind of run out of ideas, move on to something else and then come back to it. Now, this is one of my little villages going in now. And this started off, I thought, you know, I'll put like a couple of houses in or something. And then when I put these in, I thought, hang on a second. There's barriers alongside the road. They can't get to those houses. So why don't I create a little village and hook it up to the roads from the other side? So you don't access it from the main road, you access it from one of the side roads, which is exactly how it would be. And this ended up, it ended up really nice. I actually went back, after the time lapse, I actually went back to these buildings and replaced some of them with buildings that actually have people in. So we're gonna have cars going into this area. I don't think I'm gonna do that with the commercial and industrial buildings. You can do it so that they'll actually demand cargo. I don't think I'm gonna do that. But with the little residential areas, adding a few buildings in that have got a few people just to create a little bit of traffic, I think that's worth doing. And we end up with a nice little picturesque village. And because that's kind of in the middle of the valley, it kind of links the top and the bottom together. And you can see it's really simple to do. and then it becomes like, once you get into it, it took me a while to get into it, but once you get into it, it all becomes kind of rinse and repeat. You know, put in your road network, line it up, put in some nice fields, some odd buildings here and there. Got a couple more farm buildings going in around the place. We've got another little village coming. Now, I put that one little wheat field in because I think having one wheat field in there, that bright little splash of colour looks really good. But the rest of it I did with all kind of muted colours. I did a couple of ploughed fields, and then the rest is just kind of hop fields and potato fields, and which are just kind of like different shades of green. Just running around, putting a few scatterings of trees in. The odd little stand of trees. It's kind of mesmerizing to watch. God, I had a ball doing this. Right, that's right at the top of the valley, and you've got the road and the railway. The railway that's going to Ashby, and next to that is going to be the heritage line. This is the heritage line, just extending the heritage line now. So that's going to be just slightly up on the cliff, running alongside the other railroad. And I just wanted to drop the terrain a little bit so that I could put trees and bushes alongside the heritage line, but you'd still be able to see, when we're riding the trains, you'll still be able to see kind of across the valley. I really like that cliff, so I put the bushes and whatever down below, so you can still see that nice cliff. And just creating a little stand of trees. But this area here, I wanted this to be like one field going underneath the aqueduct. I'll get to that. What am I going to do now? Oh yeah, this bit. Now, I actually looked at Heathrow. I looked at Heathrow Airport. I looked at satellite photos on Google Maps of Heathrow Airport. And right in front of at the ends of the runway, they do tend to have kind of just some scrap bare ground with like no buildings or whatever. It's kind of, it's not 100%, but they do tend to have like a little bit of a gap. I'm just flattening some ground off here. So I tried to do the same with this. So rather than having like car parks and things like immediately at the end of runways, I've tried to like create some kind of little waste ground, just a little bare patch. Again, just to try and get it as realistic as we can. So this is my little bare patch of ground at the end of the runway, and I put it in using the I think I used the forest floor texture, so it just looks like a bit of scrubby waste ground. Then next to that, another little industrial warehousey kind of area. Lots of playing around with desperately trying to get some roads in between the buildings. But I did kind of have fun with these buildings. Again, trying to like put buildings together and stuff to create something a little bit different. This building actually works really nice as like a big warehouse if you just like put a few together. Nice long low, those look really good, I think. I'm probably going to be using ideas like that a lot more. I wanted kind of as few chimneys and smokestacks as possible, so like those two buildings, I merged them together, and I actually merged the smokestacks so that there's only one set of smokestacks for the two buildings. And again, trying to have little roads going into the buildings and stuff. Just little details, but when you finish it up, it's those little details that count, I think. I wanted to get these roads going in here, but there just isn't enough distance. So I had to give up on that idea, which is a real shame. Now, I agonised over this little parking area, and in the end I decided to tuck it into the corner just there. Ended up looking alright. And again, you see the green, you take the green away, add a different texture. You know, you can add some extra roads on it, bushes, some decorations, the old truck, you know, there or thereabouts, and all comes together. So here again, I've got this. We're at the end of the runway. This bit here. So I just wanted to create a little bit of waste ground. Again, I want roads kind of running through the fields, creating kind of natural barriers and whatever. Here, I decided, you know what? I'm going to put in a little village. Put a little village. So I decided to just flatten this area off. Because the buildings, I mean, they will flatten the terrain themselves, but I think where you put in like a little area like this in, it's best to just flatten it. You end up with a better result. So just trying to find some appropriate looking buildings, and I wanted some nice kind of corner buildings. Nice mixture of big buildings, small buildings. And I was enjoying this so much I decided to extend it a little bit because you can't stop yourself. Come on, let's be honest. And it starts off looking like just an awkward cluster of buildings in the middle of nowhere. But you wait and see what it looks like once I've kind of added all the bits and pieces. I thought it was important to have a road running up through that viaduct. Again, trying to get the roads up and down the terrain. Kinda difficult, but kind of important to make it look as natural as possible. And then smoothing the areas kind of around that flat area and just blending it all in. Right, so this is the end of the runway. And you'll see that I've sectioned off one little area, which is going to be our little patch of waste ground. Oh, I do. You know, it is so fun watching it back. Time lapses are cool. The wonders of modern technology. And already that village is starting to kind of blend into the environment. At this stage, I was really wondering how I was going to blend that strip of concrete with the elevated trains. How I was going to blend that into the rest of the environment, but like towards the end, you'll see that I think I came up with a way to do it. So here are a few buildings, just kind of starting to go up the valley. And then some buildings on this side, but leaving that little patch of waste ground empty. Here we go. Here's our little patch of waste ground. So just put in some scrub ground. It's got a metal fence running around the outside because I thought, yeah, that would be appropriate. Have a bit of security fencing, stop people getting in there. Hooking the roads up, making sure that they're... And I've started to have like the odd bits of cliff around the place. And I think as long as you do it, as long as you keep it like fairly small and blend the cliff in a little bit with by putting some bushes like over the top of the cliff, so you just get that kind of... It kind of looks like there's moss growing on the cliff face. So here we go. Now it took me a couple of attempts to do this because I messed it up, but I got a fence going all the way down there using the farmer mod. So I just put a tiny little strip in, and it just puts a nice fence down there. And then just blended it in with some bushes, and it ended up looking good. So now just tying the airport infrastructure into Biggleswade. Finishing off this little area around here. I wanted to try and get rid of some of the trees close to the airport. So I thought, nah, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna make this a more residential area. So I know that there are some buildings going to fill in here as the place continues to grow. I thought that terrain was too bright. So I thought, yeah, we'll just have a nice green field. Left some room for some buildings to fill in. Now just decorating it up with some trees. It's amazing the difference when you go from just the bare rows of bushes to adding a few trees in, and suddenly, oh yeah, loving it. Still, man, still a lot to do actually. I'm thinking, God, yeah, there's still like lots of bits to do. This was looking too kind of antiseptic, so I decided to add some bushes amongst those buildings. I'll probably do more of that as time goes on. So this is that was to the side of Biggleswade. This is on the road going down to Wellington. I just wanted to get some buildings in to fill in that little triangle because it was kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. The area just in front of that, between that and the main Biggleswade train station, I think that area will fill in with commercial buildings because the city is still growing. Now here again, this is the heritage line, and I wanted the terrain to fall away quite sharply so that I could put in some trees, but we'll still get a nice view from the train. This is the second viaduct. Loving it. Oh, wait till you see it all completed. You're gonna love it. Oh, yeah, I decided to put another one of these nice little barns in. So just create a little flattened area, put the barn in, get the road going in, bit of decoration around the outside, and Bob's your uncle. Like a big thank you to all the people who've been saying, you know, add some little buildings around the place. Does make a huge difference. Does make a really big difference. So, got a big field going under the viaduct, kind of tying it together. All right, and that's where I left it. And then we'll see what it's like after I finished. And here is Biggleswade Valley completed. And I love it! I've actually done a lot more tinkering since I finished the time lapse, just going around doing various bits and pieces, and I would imagine I'm going to be doing actually a lot more of that, but I had to stop myself because I need to get this video out today. I did get out yesterday and I spent a lot more time on it, and I could still carry on, but let's have a look, shall we? Just like, first of all, let's go down here and just have a look at this. Wow. With all the cars in, it's just awesome. The whole thing just comes to life, and having like just little things like the smoke coming out of the buildings and things, just brings it to life. Now this is one of the areas that I need to do a lot more work on. I need to start adding in some bits and pieces around, but I know I sort of kind of rushing it or skimping or something, and I was like, no, you know what? No, I'm enjoying this. I want to do it. So there's going to be like putting stuff like this in around the place. You know, just odd little bits and pieces, which is missing from around here because these buildings don't have the assets automatically attached, so I'm going to have to do that manually. And things like, you know, adding some extra vehicles, some you know, some lorries in the loading bays and stuff like that. It's going to be like little things like this around the place, you know, skips and, you know, odd bits of stuff lying around. But I'm really very impressed with this. Now, you may think, he's only done that one. Nope, I've done all the car parks. So, and you got to admit, it gives a feeling of life to the place. Now, we do need some stuff running around, some more buses and whatever. I've been looking for shuttle buses, and I haven't been able to find them. So, the only bus that I've got, where's a bus depot? Where's our vehicle depot? There's got to be one around somewhere. Here's a vehicle depot. I added one vehicle, which is the Mercedes-Benz Citaro C2. So I think we'll throw some of those in to use as shuttle buses. They're slightly bigger than the Volvos. I mean, maybe I should swap all the Volvos out and have the Volvos running around. But I really like the Citaros. So I think we're going to do that. I was going to put a route or two in this episode, but I don't want to rush it. You know what? So the only thing like this I haven't finished because putting them in straight lines is really easy. But when you start putting them in, and you've got to put them in individually and go round and you've got to angle each one, it becomes a very slow process. So. Like, I started putting some in, I started this corner, and then I was like, you know what, that's actually going to take me a lot of time, so I'll skip that. But over here, we've got parallel parking as well. You just flip them around with the valet parking, you just flip them around 90 degrees, and then they go in nice and easily. This area over here, I'm going to have some big semis, some big lorries over here. And I haven't decided what I want to do with it. I was going to do this one, and I thought, do I want to do something different with this one? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I need to decide what kind of bits and pieces I'm going to put around here, and not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. Over here, all of this took me a lot longer than I thought. I didn't realise just how big this is. This is almost equivalent to this. This is a big car park with lots and lots and lots of cars. And also the car parks at the back have got cars in as well. I didn't realise how many extra bits of, like little bits of parking I put in around the place. There's more, like over here and in various places around the whole place. Any over there? Oh yeah. There's a little bit back here by this hotel. And it certainly adds to it. The fields and stuff, love it. Love the fact that they've modified the mod so that you can add. There's like 4 different types of fences that you can add in. This is just I think this is the pasture fence. I can't remember whether this is the pasture. Yeah, this is the pasture fence. And see, I've added this this grass texture to this one. I might even put some animals in here because I think this will make a really nice feel for some cows or something. So, good chance that's going to happen. So, have a quick look up here. Really like how this station turned out. It's nice. I kind of do wish that these didn't have the smoke coming out, because I would like them to look more like just warehouses, but I don't know. I might. The thing is, I really like these buildings. So, here's what it is. Our little oil refinery. This was the tanks that I added. Now, these are actually from a steelworks. But I think they kind of work in this environment. And a few tanks and bits and pieces. And even this little kind of quarry piece over here, I think kind of fits into a general sort of heavy industrial setting. What else? We want to go on. Now, I haven't seen if we've got any vehicles running around in our little couple of little villages, so we can have a look at that. This, apart from having the cars in, this is very bare because none of these buildings went in with assets. So I'm going to have to go around and put assets into all of these. So we'll do that. And then these are nice. These have got all their assets onto it. All their assets in, I should say. And this is awesome. This is where I put that little strip in. So we've got this metal fence going up here, which I like. I like that a lot. That turned out really nice. Loving it. I might break this up and put a hedge across the middle of it or something. I don't know though. I think it's kind of nice to have a long straight. No, I don't think I'm going to. So let's have a look at these little villages. Oh, we've got smoke coming out of the chimneys. Oh, somebody's. Yes, we've got cars. We've got cars going in and out. Sweet. Which gives us some traffic up and down this road, which is awesome. Nice little country road, little country village. Awesome. Very, very awesome. This, I gotta say, I'm very pleased with this end of the valley. It's turned out really nice. Just these little bits of cliff and stuff. Then up here we've got cars. Yes, we've got cars. And I like how it links up to kind of just this dirt road going off to nowhere. Where did I put in? Not there. Back here, isn't it? Well, hello, plane. Where did I put in that barn? Oh, it's up here. It's up here. That's that barn that I put in. Again, needs a little bit of decoration around it just to finish it off. And probably some animals in this field. I think having some animals up in this field. Maybe some sheep. Scattered around in this kind of pasturey kind of area. And now, the thing is, from here, looking at the valley like this, if we pan around over looking towards Wellington, look, all of this is all done now. Wow, that's pretty impressive. And you know what, I'm running at the moment and I'm getting like 22 frames per second, which, considering how much stuff there is in now, I'm actually quite impressed with that. And of course, if we turn around, we've got this little bit to do over here, but then we're into the Chudley Valley. And of course, the Chudley Valley, I do need to do a bit more work. I do need to. It needs the same kind of textures that I've put in here to kind of break things up a little bit. And I'm guessing I'm going to end up putting a little village in up here somewhere, maybe. Maybe over here as well. You never know. You never know. There's gonna be lots going on. So yeah. So yeah, this needs a little bit more colour, a little bit more texture in the fields. So yeah, definitely going to be doing that. And plus, I've still got to like work on Aspatria. I haven't finished that at all. So yeah, there's still lots to do. Oh look, little Chudley. Very cool. With the church. Oh dear. Seriously, I could look around here for ages. Okay, next episode. What I'd like to do, guys, is put some bus routes in, going around the airport car parks and whatever. And what else? Maybe do a very short time lapse of just doing a little bit of the detailing, just to show you the kind of thing that I'm doing. But then it's kind of, well, what do we do next? You know, do I go back and do some more work on the Chudley Valley, maybe work on Aspatria a little? Or do we move on to something else? I mean, I've got to do Eastbourne and all of this area. I did talk about doing that big oil refinery thing. Or, you know, do we leave this area for a bit now? You know, I mean, I can do a couple of like short rides. I'd like to ride on the trains. Oh no, we've got to put the heritage line in. I'm thinking Flying Scotsman with some blood and custard coaches. What do you think? So guys, let me know your thoughts. What do you want me to do in the next episode? Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you really enjoyed it. And I will catch you for the next one. I'm going to leave you with a look at all the blooming trains running backwards and forwards. And a beautiful view of the valley. Catch you for the next one. Peace out.